Uppity Unicorn here. I want to thank you for joining me and ask you to like the video and subscribe to my channel. So there is this wonderful little nickname that some obsessive man has given me. It's called, I think it's Pump and Dumpity. So basically there's this rhetoric in the manosphere about, I've got pigtails in my hair, but I'm trying to throw one backwards. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it frontwards. So obviously, pump and dump is just like some kind of a rhetoric that men teach who are sexually lascivious and loose and promiscuous. They spread STDs, whatever it is, and they believe in very casual sex, multiplicitous casual sex. And so a married man from the black manosphere decided to start calling me Pump and Dumpity. I believe he's the one who coined the term. Now, not that it matters, because if I wanted to be a whore, it would be my business. If I wanted to be a slut, a paid one, or a broke one, it would be my business. However, I've been in a relationship for a year with one person. And before I was in a relationship with that person, I was sexually abstinent for the entire year before that. Okay, so no one is pumping and dumping me. What this person who gave me this name is doing is expressing his sexual desire for me. In front of his wife, in front of his family, in front of whoever he knows who will watch that kind of thing. Because in reality, like I just said, I don't have a reputation for being pumped and dumped. Maybe people would like to imply things about me being busty. I actually have a rather large head because I'm a very tall person, but I'm so busty. You see my head looks small compared to my boobs. So, they want to imply things maybe because of how I look. But in reality, the best way to take a woman out when you hate a woman or you want to destroy a woman is to take out her reputation, right? So you call her ugly, right? That's the first thing that you can do, is talk about how unattractive she is. But if she opens her camera and people disagree with you, you're going to be called a hater. What's the next thing you do? You attack her reputation. So the best way to attack a woman's reputation is obviously between her legs. So they will begin to talk about you like you're some kind of a loose, sexually promiscuous, whatever type of person. And when that doesn't work, they use the dismissive thing that they did to Mariah Carey and so many other people by just calling you crazy, right? Because it's dismissive. So these are the 3 ways that people like to take women out who they just have a problem with. Now, I try not to resort to those things because I want my word to be heavy. I want my word to mean something. Whether people like me or not, I want to be known for being the truth teller that I am. I will when I know the truth, I do one of 2 things. Either I shut up about it because it's nobody's business, but if I speak on it, I tell the truth. So I'm not going to return, these sexual insults or whatever it is to the people who are positing them, because I feel like that would be a poor representation of me, and then I would begin to look like them. And I don't want to become that which I look down upon, right? But when you hear this pump and dumpity stuff, understand that this is coming from people who have never met me in their life, who have zero to do. And I'm just like, to be a married man and to talk between another woman's legs, especially to just come up with something like that, like it says a lot about where you are psychologically. And it says a lot about, especially given the fact that his wife said my name had come up in their home several times, okay? Like I said at the top of this video, I've been in a relationship for a year, and before that year, I was abstinent for an entire year. I'm just not the type. You can say what you want about how I look, how busty I am, what kind of a sexy or exotic appearance that I have. In reality, I know my character, and the people around me do as well. So anyhow, there's that. I wish I could have made a nursery rhyme out of that, because it sounds like Humpty Dumpty, doesn't it? If I can think of one, I'll add it to this video. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Pump and dumpity, she has it all. Pump and dumpity, yes, her man balls. All of these dusties and low value men cry on YouTube stalking Uppity's friends. I did it. Okay, so now that we've got Pump and Dumpity out of the way, I wanted to talk just a little bit about dark femininity, because it's so funny. You have certain groups of men on YouTube who will be like, oh, a woman cannot determine what masculinity is. And it's like, oh, but you get to determine what femininity is, right? Even though you claim you had a masculine single mother. No, right? So femininity and masculinity, people want them to have these subjective meanings, but in reality, they're not subjective, or they're at least not, they're not these liquidy terms, they're fixed. So anyhow, people like to think that femininity cannot scream, cannot yell, cannot be powerful, cannot be destructive, cannot be lethal. And that's just not the truth. One of my favorite examples of the dark feminine is Cersei Lannister from the Game of Thrones. Okay, if you look at Cersei, she's not got a masculine bone in her body. The character is feminine through and through, but her femininity is so dark. It is, triple darkness, black on black on black, okay? Everything she did came from a very feminine root when it comes to setting her son up to be the king, putting him in position, sabotaging other people, murdering people, the way that she treated other women, the way that she groomed herself, the way that she plotted, planned. She was conniving in all kinds of amazingly, she blew up all of those people in that church, just to ensure her rule. Okay, just murderous. But nothing of her movements was masculine. Nothing of it. The same thing with Arya Stark, okay? If we're talking Arya Stark, who is obviously, one of my favorite characters, one of, a cult favorite, a cult following favorite, if you will. Arya Stark did go through a point where she had to dress up like a boy only because if she was a girl, she would have been caught, found out, raped, whatever, right? So there was a point where she did have to cut her hair and do all these different things. But if you think of a daughter's love for her father, right? When her father was killed and her mother was killed, she wanted to avenge her parents. This is from a daughter's love and a daughter's perspective and a daughter's blah, 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 blah. So we like to think of Sansa Stark as very, feminine because she's very obviously feminine, but even she could perform very ruthlessly. And when you are ascending from that, femininity is kind of three-part. It's like the maiden, the mother, the crone, right? There are these three levels of where, she's young and hot, she's maternal and beautiful, she's old and wise, So in her process of going from maiden to motherish figure, right? Because mother/wife, whatever. But basically, remember when she had her rapist eaten by his own hounds after starving them? Dark femininity. So when I say dark femininity, some people will automatically think, okay, well, that's a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. Femininity is a beautiful thing, but it can be as gentle as it can be lethal. When you think of witches, it's very, you think of a woman, even though there are male witches and alchemists, warlocks, spiritualists, shaman, curanderos, but you think, when you think of a, Santeria, Brujeria, even the way that you pronounce them is effeminate because, a man who practices Brujeria, he's a brujo, right? He's not a bruja, like a woman, if somebody a man practices, Santeria, he's a santo, he's not a, santera, right? Like even in the gendered of the language, the gendering of the language and the way that it's pronounced, that power is in the femininity, and it can be very overwhelming. When you study yin and yang, you find that the male energy is the white color and the feminine energy is black. So when you think, for example, of the superhero Storm, you have in her someone who is expressing quite a bit of dark femininity. When you think of, even Wonder Woman, or you think of the Orishas, all of the Orishas have a darker side to their femininity. And their darker sides tend to be more powerful, more threatening, more intimidating. However, it still counts as femininity. If you think of one of my favorite examples of dark femininity is obviously the Santísima Muerte. You have the Santísima Muerte, who is like Niña Blanca, like the General Santísima Muerte, who is a deity that was, Micticasihuat, right? According to like Nahuatl or Nahuatl, the language of the indigenous people of Mexico. You're talking Mayans, Aztecs, things like this, right? So her name originally morphed from Micticasihuat to Santísima Muerte, and she is a deity that is worshipped by worshipped, and not just worshipped, but like I don't really know how to reverenced, I guess I would say, all over Mexico. Okay, all over Mexico. Part of the reason she's called Santa Muerte is because these people are Catholic, and at the same time, it's like the Catholic Church. She's like some kind of unofficial, unrecognized saint of the Catholic Church or whatever. But the Catholic Church will not claim her, probably because her roots are indigenous, whatever. Anyhow, she has that Niña Blanca, right? Blanca means white. That white skeleton kind of thing. Sorry, I'm just looking out of my window at my neighbor because I need to close my window. And she also has La Niña Negra. Okay. So that is the aspect of the Santa Muerte that is very protective, okay? You have the aspect of Santa Muerte that is, very loving and very kind and gentle, and then you have the aspect of her, the black girl aspect, aka Niña Negra, right? Niña, girl, negra, black, feminine, right? Extremely protective. That do not play with my kid, I will mess you up. That energy is still feminine. So don't let these people tell you, oh, you're so masculine, look at you fighting back. Oh, you're so masculine, look at you defending yourself. Oh, you're so masculine, look at you speaking up. No, it doesn't work that way, and it has never worked that way. Adam, Eve, Lilith. Lilith is also, and I understand why a lot of people are big fans of Lilith. Me personally, like, it's just not my cup of tea. But Lilith is also a great example of dark femininity. Like, I don't know who told you guys about what femininity is supposed to look like, but it has both of its sides, okay? It has its light and dark. Everything has in it two sides. Everything has in it a duality. So this video doesn't need to be very long. I'm actually going to go on ahead and cut it off pretty soon. But dark femininity is a thing. It is powerful. It is beautiful. It is something that I believe all women should embrace, because there is power in just being feminine. There's no need to imitate masculinity in the least. There's no need for it. You don't need it. You are your most powerful in the fullness of your feminine. Or, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm Uppity Unicorn, and I have quite a bit of light and dark femininity working with me. And oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Mama Chola. Should I go there? Maybe I shouldn't, but definitely if you're into Loa, if you're into Hoodoo, Voodoo, Santeria, Brujeria, the 21 divisions, whatever it is, you already know what I'm talking about, and I don't even have to really go there with you. Even in traditional, Abrahamic faiths, you're talking about women who were martyred for the sake of, prophets, and for the sake of God, and loving these men and putting their lives out there on the line for men who were carrying the messages of God. Like, that in itself is a level of dark femininity, when you're willing to fight and die for a cause, for your family, XYZ. There is that woman from Texas. I keep forgetting her historical name, but they called her the Yellow Rose of Texas. It was actually a biracial woman. Um, she did something with, I don't know if it was the Alamo or, Lord, I've got all kind of notifications going on. Okay. Um, but you have all kind of women who fought battles even while they were pregnant, and you would say to yourself, oh my God, you're pregnant, stay home. But it was just like, if I don't fight, what life is my kid gonna have to live, right? So dark femininity drives, dark femininity is what keeps a mother holding on to a child who, you know just couldn't do right, for example. So let's say when Tupac was talking about his mom, you know, hugging on your son from a jail cell, right? That power that kept her there, that made her strong, that kept her from being some, broken, I don't know what to do person, like that power in Afeni Shakur that she was exerting when her son was in all of that trouble, is dark femininity. So, I just wanted to be clear about that because so many people, they see dark femininity and they want to run to, oh, you're just masculine. Harriet Tubman, dark femininity. Sojourner Truth, dark femininity. Maya Angelou, dark femininity. I would say Cicely Tyson has a blend of light and dark femininity, and most women do. I'm just saying as we know them, because if you look into their personal lives, okay, they have light and dark femininity, but like the things that we know about them and what they're like famous for, dark femininity. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I don't know if you guys saw the new version of Sabrina on Netflix, but there's this beautiful black girl with these 1990s kind of finger waves in her hair, and she is just teeming with dark femininity, and it's so beautiful. Chloe and Halle oscillate between light and dark femininity. It's a really beautiful thing that they do. Beyonce is full of dark femininity, and I dare you to tell me that you can find a masculine bone in that woman's body. Rihanna, teeming with dark femininity. The way she carries herself, the things that she's passionate about. Even the song "B Better Have My Money," extremely dark femininity. Nothing masculine about it. Now, swearing, sure, it's not a good habit. It's not a feminine habit, but there's even a feminine way to do that. So don't let these men psych you out of your power. And that's another thing. I love that I said that. They'll never take my power, my power. They feel away. That song is full of dark femininity. It's full of Oya, Iansa, the mother of nine. Outside of the gates of the cemetery, that song by Beyonce, Power, it is 100%. There is 0% light femininity in that song. So anyhow, I hope that I made some things clear. Don't let these men talk you out of your power. Fighting is a neutral thing. It is not a gendered thing. To have fight in you, to have heart in your chest, and to stand up for what is right, that is ungendered. That is an ungendered thing. It can be masculine or feminine. So with that being said, I'm a lover of light and dark femininity, and here's to doing your own shadow work, getting into those shadows, discovering your own dark femininity. And if you have any other questions about dark femininity, let me know. If there are any figures you want me to look into and to dissect their light and dark femininity, go ahead and comment below. I would love to do that. So I am Uppity Unicorn, and I thank you so much for watching. Oh, that's my little double happiness sign. Me and the Mr. Yeah, we have a Buddhism thing between us. Anyhow, I'm Uppity Unicorn, and I'm out of here. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to turn this thing off. I'll let it go on itself. I'll just sit here.